earlier today with the embassy. We left that meeting with absolutely zero indication. But we got to be clear, this isn't just about him. This is also about every single person in the United States. The Constitution applies to all people in our country. Due process applies to all people in our country. It's one of the things that sets our country apart from other places across the entire world. And so we're worried, of course, we demand the release of Abrego Garcia, but we're also worried about our own constituents. We represent people across the entire nation. I'm from Orlando, Florida. A community filled with immigrants, a diverse community. And we're getting hundreds and hundreds of calls. People saying, go to El Salvador, do something. Do something about the fact that the President of the United States in the Oval Office is talking about sending U.S. citizens.
There's no new case is extremely important, but we are shining a light on a much broader issue of lack of due process.
Right.
We're here in El Salvador demanding the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. We think it's incredibly important that the law in the United States is followed. Our Supreme Court, in a 9-0 decision, to be clear, has said that Mr. Abrego Garcia should be returned to the United States. That's been affirmed by other courts in the U.S., and we also want to be clear that the Trump administration has admitted publicly that he was sent here by mistake. So the administration has said he was here by mistake. The Supreme Court has said bring him back to the United States, and that's what we're here to do.
Kilmar. We know nothing of Mr. Abrego Garcia's whereabouts since the staged photo op on Thursday with Senator Van Hollen. We demand to immediately know where he is and to have access to him. Unfortunately, we are no longer able to trust the representations about this case made either by the United States government or by the Salvadoran government. And indeed, this case is about many things, but above all, it is about truth versus lies. And there have been a lot of mistruths that have been told about Mr. Abrego Garcia and his family, a lot of defamation coming from the highest office in our country and the most powerful office in the world.
Avancemos.
The Supreme Court has said bring him back to the United States, and that's what we're here to do. Hey, it's Congressman Garcia. I am here in El Salvador with a group of House Democrats advocating for the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia and, of course, checking in on so many folks who have been sent here without due process. The Supreme Court has ordered unanimously that Kilmar Garcia should come back home to the United States. We also know that he was sent here wrongfully. The Trump administration admitted that. We have met now with the U.S. Embassy here, the ambassador. We're meeting with advocates on the ground who are organizing here in El Salvador. We've talked to Abrego Garcia's family, which is heartbreaking. And more importantly, we're here to raise awareness that Kilmar needs to come home. We need to build support here in El Salvador, but also in the United States. He must come home. And I'll say this lastly. The president defying a Supreme Court order is a fire alarm moment in this country. We cannot stand for it, and we must ensure that he's held accountable.
The President of the United States in the Oval Office is talking about sending U.S. citizens. So I'm here in El Salvador. I got here late last night. I'm here with 3 other members of Congress and some staff. And we're here to build off of the work of Senator Van Hollen, demanding the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, someone who was sent here without due process, without his day in court. And the fact of the matter is this is happening to a lot of other people as well. And we should all be concerned. I'm here on behalf of the people I represent in Orlando, Florida, a community that is very diverse, filled with immigrants, because here's the deal. We all, the Constitution applies to all of us, and we all are entitled to due process, not to be kidnapped by ICE agents in the middle of the night and sent to another country and sent to a prison. And so we have to draw the line here. We have to make a big deal about this. Members of Congress have to come here and use the privilege we have to advocate at the highest levels to make sure that Kilmar is brought home, but not just him, but that everybody can have their day in court and can have due process. The president in the Oval Office said next up is he wants to send U.S. citizens here. This is completely against the Constitution, and we have to draw the line here. So we'll keep people updated with the work that we do here. But here's the good news. We won't be the last. We won't be the last members of Congress here. We got to keep the pressure up.
I came here with 3 distinct goals in mind. Number 1, to ensure that Mr. Abrego Garcia is in fact alive today. Number 2, to make sure that he is healthy and safe. And then number 3, to ensure that he has access to counsel and to his family as is required by international law. We know nothing of Mr. Abrego Garcia's whereabouts since the staged photo op on Thursday with Senator Van Hollen. We demand to immediately know where he is and to have access to him. Unfortunately, we are no longer able to trust the representations about this case made either by the United States government or by the Salvadoran government. And indeed, this case is about many things, but above all, it is about truth versus lies.
This is Congresswoman Yassamin Ansari. After a long day, we have arrived in El Salvador. I am here with several of my colleagues to demand that Donald Trump release Kilmar Abrego Garcia, union member, Maryland man who was wrongfully detained and deported, has never been convicted of a crime, and who the United States Supreme Court has ruled 9-0 unanimously the United States must facilitate his return. Last night, I had a town hall in my district where a woman came and said her son, who is Salvadoran, they are scared to travel this summer because what if what happened to Kilmar Garcia happens to them? If there's not due process for Kilmar, there will be no due process for anyone. We want to make sure that Kilmar is still alive. We want to make sure that he has access to counsel. We want to make sure that the United States does what it's supposed to do, follow the Supreme Court of the United States and release him. And we are here fighting for the future of our democracy.
Congresswoman Maxine Dexter here, coming to you from El Salvador. I flew here last night with 3 of my colleagues to demand that Kilmar Abrego Garcia be released. He is being held in violation of a Supreme Court order expressly telling the Trump administration to effectuate and facilitate his coming home. That is being ignored. This is not just a threat to all people in the United States who could be illegally abducted, detained, and transported internationally against their will. But it is a fact that our president does not recognize the branches of government and the balances of power. This is what we all have been calling a constitutional crisis, yet it is more severe than anything we've seen. We cannot stay silent. We must stay loud. I am here because I refuse to wait for something to happen. We are here to release Kilmar Abrego Garcia.